Hey everyone, did you watch that here? I'm proud to present an amazing theory that everyone has beaten me to the punch to, and that's what I get for picking up a new job. But anyway, this theory's been around for a while, and I want to explore it and give my own thoughts on it. I think I've picked up on some things that people haven't noticed and they've missed, and I'm going to go ahead and go against the grain of other YouTubers and call Daenerys' death. This is also going to be part of a new video series where I examine how I think different characters will die. So let's go ahead and get into the theory. We're going to dive right in. We've been told by George R. R. Martin that the ending to A Song of Ice and Fire will be bittersweet. But it looks like we can expect victory for Westeros over the White Walkers. We can already see the seeds of this with Dany and her dragons and her now massive army. Jon has united the North and the Vale and the Wildlings and potentially the Riverlands as well. It seems that the stage is being set for everyone to be united. But George R. R. Martin has told us not to expect a straight black and white story. So something's going to go wrong, something's going to happen that's going to be unexpected, and what would be more shocking, on par with the Red Wedding, than the death of Daenerys, and her death would be at the hands of none other than Jon Snow. It's pretty shocking, I know, so hopefully some of you guys are still around to hear me out, and this theory is going to focus on a few key points. The first is going to be that we know Dany is probably going to marry Jon Snow. Now I say this with confidence because we know Dany is looking to use marriage to secure the Iron Throne, thanks to her scene dumping Daario and how played up that was. And that really only leaves her with a few choices. House Martell is gone, House Tyrell is gone, House Baratheon is gone, House Tully is already married. I seriously doubt we'll see a marriage to Jaime Lannister or Tyrion. Jaime's still a member of the King's Guard, so he can't get married, and Tyrion has no benefit at the moment anyway. A marriage to Euron or Theon. Euron only has half of the Iron Islands under his control, I guess, and Theon cannot produce heirs, and really a marriage to the Iron Islands would only make the North and the Riverlands angry, and would be a waste. So that really only leaves House Arryn and House Stark. Jon Snow is of age, unlike Robin Arryn, and the most eligible bachelor in the Seven Kingdoms. As King of the North, you could even make the argument that he is King of the Riverlands as well.
I don't call him nephew, he's your king.
Which brings two houses into the fold. With the Alliance of the Vale in the North, a marriage to Jon would help bring that house in as well, although whatever Littlefinger is doing remains to be seen. A marriage to House Arryn would not necessarily bring in the North the way that a marriage to the North would have more potential to do so. So really, Dany's already got the support of House Greyjoy to some extent, and a marriage to the North just makes the most sense. It brings in at least two houses, potentially three, into the fold with no bloodshed, and it gives her control of 5 to 6 of the Seven Kingdoms, depending on how quickly the Iron Islands fold. We can already see Dany and Jon meeting, so they could potentially be setting it up or, just laying the foundation for it. And a marriage to the North just makes the most strategic sense. Dany would be able to pin any hostile force between armies in the North and armies in the South, and it's just the best idea all around. So if Dany and Jon marry and fall in love, why would Jon ever kill her? Let's explore some major hints, starting with the show. If you're new to my channel, you know I love the House of the Undying as a prediction point. Things are no different here. The House of the Undying is a crucial prophecy point, and we get a scene of Dany walking into a destroyed throne room filled with snow. She approaches the Iron Throne and comes close, but she does not touch it. It's a not so subtle hint that snow will claim the Iron Throne, winter will prevail potentially, and Dany will fall short. And it could be a prediction that the Seven Kingdoms will be permanently shattered and never unify again. But at any rate, it's not a good sign for Daenerys. In the books, we don't get this scene, but we do get something just as important from the House of the Undying. A prophecy that Daenerys will be betrayed 3 times. One for blood, one for greed, and one for love. Many people have speculated that the witch from the first season is the blood betrayal, and she's an excellent fit for it, taking life from Daenerys' son and husband as revenge for the loss of her family and village. The greed betrayal is a little more difficult. Some say it's Jorah for informing Varys on Daenerys' whereabouts that led up to that assassination attempt with the wine in the first season. And some say it's Hizdahr for marrying Dany to become the King of Meereen. But the greed betrayal isn't as important as the love betrayal for this video. And the point is that Daenerys has already been betrayed at least twice, and the third one is coming from someone she loves or that loves her. If Daenerys does marry Jon, it could be a prediction of his coming betrayal this way, and a final fatal one at that. We still have other people in the running, of course. Maybe Daario will show back up. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Or Jorah will come back from trying to cure himself. But those are long shots compared with Jon Snow. And one more hint that something bad is going to happen is something that show viewers won't be as familiar with, and that's the legend of Azor Ahai. He's only been mentioned on the show briefly, but we've been given hints and we've been told that Jon Snow is this figure from legend returned. So we've never really gotten much of a history scene on it, but we've gotten a little bit of information from Melisandre in The Sword, the Lightbringer, and that scene from Season 2. Born beneath the bleeding star, Azor Ahai will wield Lightbringer, the red sword of heroes in the battle for the dawn to save the world. But the legend of Azor Ahai the Lightbringer goes something like this. Azor Ahai needed a sword to defeat the darkness, and so he labored to build a sword, but it shattered. It wasn't good enough. And so he forged another sword, but this time he quenched the blade in the heart of a lion. The sword was better, but it still shattered. Having labored and failed twice now, and with the swords and he was desperate, Azor Ahai labored even further, pushing himself to his limits, pushing the steel, and when the time came to quench the blade again, he called over his wife, whose name was Nisa, and he plunged the blade into her heart. Her death rose basically infused it with her love, her courage, and her strength, and that is how the sword Lightbringer was born, the red sword of heroes. So we are getting heavy hints that Jon is Azor Ahai, and heavy hints that Jon and Dany will get married. And although we know that Stannis had Lightbringer, or at least claimed to, it was kind of just a fake. The book confirms it, but the show just shows him doing that ritual and pulling it out of the heart of the mother statue. Now, what's important about that is whether Mel believes in it or not. She at least does for show that the sword has to come from the heart of a woman, that it's crucial to its creation. So if the legend is true, Jon needs this sword to defeat the darkness, and he may be told by Melisandre or some other red priest that this is what has to happen. He may be told by Sam, who is looking in a book for knowledge, or he could be told by Bran, who's looking into the past and says, hey, this is what needs to happen. I also like that it could be a foreshadowing of 3 battles with the White Walkers, the first one being Hardhome, where they were defeated. The second one, maybe they go ahead and defeat the Lannisters, they're out of the way, they're united, and it's still not enough. They need something more to be able to defeat the White Walkers. And what really seals this theory for me is the fact that the White Walkers were created by being stabbed in the heart with some dragon glass, a powerful spell to create a powerful weapon. It makes even more sense that an equally powerful spell and an equally powerful anti-magic weapon would involve stabbing someone in the heart. Ice and fire, death and life. We know only death can pay for life, and what more powerful magic or a more powerful conduit is there than Daenerys Targaryen? The Mother of Dragons, the Breaker of Chains, Unburnt, all those titles, she may end up being the Mother of Humanity or the Savior of all people. She's the last pure Targaryen, and it makes her an even better candidate for this choice of magic than anyone else. So George R.R. Martin has told us that we're going to have a bittersweet ending, that the seasons will be resolved and fixed, and what's more bittersweet than a victory that costs too much? Something that would probably break the men who love her, killing Daenerys. We'll get a victory, but it's not going to be a pleasant one. If the seasons are fixed, it's going to be something that affects the entire planet. We've got to see some powerful magic come into play. We also need something shocking. The show hasn't really had that much, but this would be on par with the Red Wedding for me. You know, maybe they'll go ahead and give us a spoiler and we won't know if it will or won't happen, but to me, I'm going to go ahead and call it that this is how Daenerys is going to die. Jon Snow is an honorable guy. It's going to be hard to say what he's going to do, but if the Walkers have already been defeated in the past only to come back, maybe they're seeking a permanent victory this time. And Daenerys Targaryen has to be sacrificed if the world is going to be saved. She's the only one who's powerful enough to do it. So what do you guys think? Pretty crazy stuff, huh? Do you think that this is a legitimate theory that we'll see Daenerys get stabbed in the heart by Jon Snow? Or do you think it's just crazy? Leave a like or a comment in the section below and I'll get back to you. Subscribe for more videos. I will have new ones out now that I've finished my new job training. And I'd also like to give a shout out to my friend Taibaka, who helps out with all these lovely thumbnails. Be sure to follow what she's doing on Twitch or YouTube if you want, and I'll provide links below. Everyone have a good one. Be on the lookout for a channel update in the near future.